Hi, John Worth here again, classical musician, baby metal fan, and for those of you who've watched my earlier videos, yes, it turns out I do in fact have ears. It was getting a little crazy up there. I decided something had to be done. Originally, the plan was to talk about Rondo of Nightmare, but then Baby Metal announced a new album, dropped a single, and that's all anybody's talking about. So I'm going to push that back a little, give it some space, and talk about the new single a little bit. As for the album, though, I don't have any inside information, and I doubt anybody really does. The band is signed with Columbia, but they're still represented by Amuse, and they're going to keep playing things close to the vest. On the other hand, if you do have information, don't keep it to yourself. We need to know. Other than the single, all I know so far is I'd rather have a root canal than listen to Slaughter to Prevail. I'm not convinced the ladies can class up the joint enough to make that listenable, but I won't bet against them. I mean, we've seen betting against baby metal is a great way to go broke. As for the single, For Me to You, as I've mentioned before, I'm not a reactor. I mean, why would anybody want to hear my first impression of a song when I'm not interested in my first impression of a song? It needs to percolate and marinate a bit. But that's okay because we all know that every time a new song drops, there will be as many reaction videos as stars in the sky. So you certainly won't need me. You'll have plenty of options. But I do want to try something on For Me to You. And it's that the job of a conductor is a lot like a music producer. You have music, you have musicians, and you're trying to create the best result for the audience. The main difference being that you get one shot at it live and unedited, and that's that. So I want to do a musical breakdown of the sort I would do with a rehearsal recording preparing for a concert to analyze the video and discuss what I think it does or what does or doesn't work and why. It'll be fun for me anyway. You may find it entertaining or even informative or not, in which case feel free to go do something else. I won't take it personally. This will be a musical analysis, so I'll mainly treat the voices as instruments and not focus much on the lyrics. If you want an excellent lyrical analysis, go to the AJ Hartley video link in the description. It's fascinating. If you want a breakdown of the instrumentals, you could see the video from Dikadek. How do you pronounce? I'm spacing on the pronunciation. It's just linked in the description too. He goes in and actually unmixes the instrumental lines so you can hear them individually. Very, very interesting and highly recommended. One thing I differed with them on was that they loved the song and I just didn't. I went on a journey with it. It was on the first listen, I thought it was horrible. But then again, I was in a really shitty mood. You know when something bad is happening and it could be anything from like a minor thing to a life-altering disaster, and you can't reach the only person who can tell you which it's going to be. That's not a good mood for a first listen. Ask me how I know. When things got better, the song got better. Makes sense. But I did promise in episode 1 to be honest, and this is my one sentence review of the song. I didn't like it much, but that's not a surprise because it wasn't intended for me. I mean, for one, it's way too electronic. I don't know exactly why, but if you line up all my favorite music, regardless of genre, so from symphony orchestra to baby metal, the stuff I like best could be performed with just the people on stage playing. I mean, it's not by choice. I don't pick them for that. I guess it's just that I'm a live musician to the core, and the further you get from that, the less interested I am. Give me guitar, bass, drums, and keyboards, but go easy on the synths and the studio stuff. Electricity is for powering amplifiers. Keep the rest to a minimum. Also, and this is very important, keep your damn producery hands off the vocals. Processing and autotuning Sue is like painting a picture of a diamond over a real diamond. Why would you want to do that? I mean, I get the producers feel like they have to do something to earn their pay, but I mean, that's why baby metal live versions usually sound better than the studio ones. I'm not trying to harass Jordan Fish here, but the same thing happened to Kingslayer, though that one's actually much worse. I have an episode in progress on it, but the upshot is the live recording is one of my favorite songs, but I can't even stand to listen to the studio version. It's like they stripped out everything good about her voice. I mean, why do that? I mean, it's possible this Mr. Fish person and I just don't see eye to eye, but I mean, in his defense, he is an international music industry star, and I'm some dope doing lo-fi videos in the guest room. So, I guess he's got me on that. But last, I'm kind of depressed because I'm just not a fan of harsh vocals, and I foresee a lot more of it in the future. But one of the reasons I like baby metal is the lack of them. And I'll be honest with you, if the future of the band is screaming electronica and auto-tuning, I'm out. That's it. Now, screaming is not necessarily a bad thing. It can be used very effectively when done right. The Live Kingslayer is a good example. Ollie's work is excellent. I mean, yes, he screams, but he also sings and has different types of screams within the same song. I mean, the science is in. The essence of music is contrast, whether listeners realize it or not. Your brain responds to changes in the music. And it's a big reason baby metal songs are so good. That their music doesn't sound the same. Each song is well constructed and conceived. And it's why their stuff is more interesting than most. So, as an example, if you're going to 10 on the intensity meter, don't start at 9. And here's a fantastic example of that. Here near the end of Kingslayer. So this is big, right? This could be the end of the song. Sounds like we're heading out. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to bring the volume down, draw the audience in, get their attention, and then punch them in the head. Lord, that's such a glorious moment. What a great point of a song. Anyway, the point of that is, why is that scream so effective? And the reason is the calm before the storm. It was quiet. We brought it back. And then, bam. In other words, contrast. Okay, preliminaries out of the way. Let's get into From Me to You. And by the way, I refuse to substitute the letter U for the word you. I don't know why. I'm basically a Buddhist when it comes to violence, but that one just makes me want to punch people in the head. I don't know why. It's always been like that. It's a funny silent entry, watching all the reactors tweaking their equipment, wondering where the sound was. So typical baby metal, right? The heavy music offsets the cuteness. This is working well so far. So that harsh line is very effective for contrast. These girls are going to be the death of me one day. I mean, this chorus is just catchy as hell and takes the kawaii factor to 11. But I mean, in true baby metal fashion, it can't work, right? The chirpy melody, the big smiles, the lyrics about rage and killing, it just can't fit together, right? And there's no way. I mean, they just did it, but they can't. But they did. See, it's the magic again, right? And no one else could make rage so adorable. But admit it, no matter how big her smile is, you don't want to be Sue's enemy, do you? Didn't think so. And they're still balancing the cuteness with the heavy lines, the heavy music and the harsh lines. Okay, unfortunately now we're at the point where they lose me. I don't know if my ADD is getting worse or what. This next bit, though, it has essentially no music, and the harsh stuff never changes intensity, and my mind just kind of wanders off. See, there's no music here. It's just little noises. I hate that. It's just all the same, the whole same intensity, same volume level, still, and not much music under it. I zoned out. The last line would have been a great place for Poppy to dial it up, but I mean, it was all the same intensity. They had to drop the music to emphasize it. Imagine if there'd been something left in the tank for her to really lean into. Yeah. Anyway, coming up, my new favorite moment in recorded history, hearing Moa and Momo yell, "You can shove it," with max cuteness over brutal music. And the music is so heavy it balances the high-pitched insults beautifully. Does anyone think Sue's enemies would die an adorable death, but dead just the same? Ooh, okay. So why was that quiet section more effective than the first one? I mean, for one, Sue stares into your soul. Number two, though, the melody is much more interesting. And number three is there's some music back there. It isn't just little noises. And the music even has a subtle build to it if you listen close. So, there's more there. It works better. Next up is another scream section that will also be mostly flat in intensity, but it'll be much more effective. Because the music and the voice will be more intense, and there is some build to it. It's also where we are in the song, right? We're reaching the peak. So now is the time to just go hard. There's a little synth bit coming up when the key changes and the sun comes out. Which song did they lift this from? It just sounds so damn familiar. Okay, now we really are on the road out, but the song has been too intense to end on this little cute chorus, so it needs more. The answer is the heavy instrumentals and the harshness of Poppy's vocal lines. Without that intense exit, it just wouldn't have ended well. Anyway, there's an example of how I'd approach trying to get the parts to fit together for maximum effect. Hopefully it was enjoyable and or entertaining for you. Was for me anyway. I'm going to skip the political implications of the lyrics because not everybody wants to talk about that. Maybe a more serious episode, cover some of those things. As for now, though, I have the rondo sketched out. I just need to record it, so hopefully not too much of a delay. And hopefully I'll see you then. Until then, though, if you do have an enemy to kill, be like Sue and kill them with cuteness.